Hi, we're here with Sedona City Mayor Rob Adams, and there's been some, how shall we say, controversy. If you read last Friday's newspaper of the Red Rock News, there was just an article that you all have to read, but Mayor Rob Adams quickly called me and just wanted to clarify things up so there's no hearsay, there's nothing taken out of context. And with me now, it's with great privilege to introduce Mayor Rob Adams. How are you?
Pleasure to be here. Before we get started, Alan, I really need to make a disclaimer if I could. I'm not speaking on behalf of the City of Sedona, its staff, or the City Council. I'm here strictly speaking on my behalf and my opinions and my beliefs. So I just needed to get that clear before we get started.
Well, especially with this newspaper, things do get taken out of context, and it's better to clear the air while you share. That's
very good.
Thank you. So why don't you just tell us, I mean, there's been a lot of animosity within the inner politics of Sedona. Would you agree?
I would say there's been animosity, yes.
And you've started some committees, and we've talked about them on my show before, where these committees have benefited the City of Sedona, some of its projects that it was doing. And why don't you go over some of the committees?
Well, to give a little bit of history, shortly after I was elected, well, I'll step back even a little further than that. While I was campaigning for mayor, one of the things that I said that I wanted to do was form some committees to address specific issues in Sedona. One was a budget committee to kind of provide oversight to the city budget and provide recommendations to the mayor or to the city manager and or to the city council in terms of specific budget recommendations as well as long-term economic sustainability in Sedona. The other one was the environmental committee, which we were going to look at all aspects of the environment, prioritize them, and then make recommendations in terms of things that we can do to be better stewards of the land. And finally, the third one was Community Enhancement Committee, and that committee was looking at how we can provide a better quality of life in Sedona. So that being said, once I got elected, I wanted to follow through with that promise in forming those committees. And so I went to the city attorney and I said, well, first of all, we had a retreat, and I asked the council to approve the committees as formal committees. The council said, no, that's not a priority of ours. And so I was outvoted on that. So I went to the city attorney and I asked him, can I have kind of ad hoc mayor committees, advisory committees? And it was his interpretation that indeed I could, and he had a written memorandum to that effect in July before I actually formed the committees. It was early July, I believe July 3rd. So with that in mind, feeling as though I could form these committees and be legal about it, I did so. So we've been moving toward addressing certain issues in the city, like the lights on 89A with the environmental committee.
Well, let me just interject this. The formation of the committees were not solely picked by you.
No. Actually, the city put out an advertisement or a series of ads requiring people to come in and make applications just like they would for the the Planning and Zoning Commission or any of the other formal commissions. So it was a formal procedure, and people made applications, and then those applications were reviewed by Vice Mayor Bradshaw and myself to make the selection. So those were definitely not handpicked by myself.
Well, and that's what I wanted to get across there too, because people could misinterpret that these committees, since they do respond to you. Not only was these committees approved by the city manager in writing when you went through proper channels to say whether this is legal or not, you not only got that validated by the city attorney, but you also had assistance by the vice mayor. It also went through public protocol as well.
Right. It was exactly the same procedure as we would do for any other committee or commission that serves the city. Yes. So yeah, that was one thing that bothered me, that I've kind of been accused of trying to create a power base in the city by forming people that support me to be a part of these committees, and that's absolutely not true.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why Mayor Adams is here with us, because he wants to put to sleep any allegations or any attempt of his character, because he's always had, since I've had the privilege of knowing him, an open door policy. Now, with that in mind, why don't we talk about some of the feedback that you've been getting since day one as far as resistance is concerned?
Well, it's just a matter of concern among some council people that these committees don't report directly to council. And it was my intention all along that they do so, and my intention that the committee chairs or a particular selected person on the committee make updated reports to the council. I have had all of the minutes of the committee sent to council, so you know they're updated continuously in terms of what transpires during those committee meetings.
So, from where I stand, where it seems this difficulty has challenged from some of the council members, instead of putting your committees at jeopardy or your reputation, if they had a difference with you, they could have simply just come into your office and address you personally and respected the authority of our mayor and address their personal concerns with you. Would you agree?
Well, that was my hope, and I brought it up at the council meeting where we had this discussion that if there was a concern, you know, any one of the council members could have come in and spoke to me privately with their concerns, and we could have addressed it. The thing that I find ironic is there was only one council person that actually came in on their own free will and discussed the committees with me, and actually this particular council person was supportive of the committees. They were just concerned about the resistance of other council people toward the committees.
So what I'm hearing is the people who had problems or difficulties or questions with your committees never even stepped up to your office to give you the benefit of the doubt of talking with you or addressing their concerns with you.
That's correct. For that reason, among other reasons, I feel as though really this attack on the committees is really more politically motivated than anything else. I think that the worth of the committees is very clear. They're comprised of some highly intelligent, motivated people that are willing to give of their time and their expertise and their knowledge to serve the city. And I see no good reason. The only objection that I heard during the council meeting was that it was going to be setting a precedent. Well, I kind of understand that in a way, and I can understand the concern. The precedence of a mayor setting up committees, it depends on the intent of the mayor. You know, if the mayor is trying to surround themselves with supporters and create a power base, that's one issue. If the mayor is trying to create committees to accomplish something positive for the community, that's another. So that discussion should take place with council, but I don't believe that consideration was ever given to me. The council simply said no, and that was the end of it. And I fully disagreed with that. I think that my intent is to empower the people in this city to be involved with their government and be a part of the vision that we're moving toward as a city. So,
collectively and individually.
Collectively and individually. I mean, everybody's, wants the best for Sedona, and by putting committees together, you can discuss that. These are all individuals that have different ideas and different opinions in terms of what's best for Sedona, and I think that ultimately the outcome of these committees is going to be a great thing.
To address the article that was published in that Red Rock News, and I think it was the 30th of January of 2009. Why don't you address that? Because I know that's a big concern right now.
Well, the article I thought was a pretty neutral article. I don't have an issue with that. One of the things that it brought up was the fact that I had said that I would resign if the council disbanded the committees, and I feel that strongly about it. I'm not a quitter. I don't want to resign as mayor of Sedona. My intent, though, is to get something done. I'm not a ribbon cutter. I'm not just a figurehead. I ran for mayor so that I could do something positive for Sedona, and that's my intent. And I think one of those things that I want to do that's positive is get people involved and empowered in their own government. And I think this is a good thing. So that's why I made that comment.
And as far as ribbon cutting, I did have the privilege of having him cut my ribbon over at the Visit Sedona TV. So thank you so much for that.
Well, don't get me wrong. Ribbon cutting is part of the duties of being mayor. But I feel as though the mayor really was elected by the general public. I feel as though there are expectations of the mayor to be a leader. And part of the leadership is to do things like creating, the committees, in my opinion. That's part of my leadership, as well as dealing with other issues that face the city. So, I feel very strongly about that. I want to get something accomplished during my term.
And you've already done so much for the city. Why don't you also talk about, to recap what we discussed on the first part, because there were some things that you also wanted to discuss.
Well, I think that one of the major points that was brought up during the city council discussion was the mayor setting a precedent by forming these committees. And my feeling is that I'm setting a precedent of empowering people to be part of their government. And I feel like I'm setting a precedent of tapping into the incredible wealth of human resources that we have here in Sedona, and helping us in the city deal with a lot of the issues that we have here and doing something positive. So I think it's a powerful positive precedent. It's not a negative precedent. And I understand the concern of the city council members that this may be used in a bad way. There may be a precedent where a mayor may use council or committee members to empower themselves, and that is not my intention. So I think we just need to get that clear in terms of what the intention is of establishing the committees.
And one of the best things about clearing things up is by communicating. Instead of addressing things and jeopardizing the integrity of the committees that are already going to benefit the city of Sedona, they should address their concerns. Anybody, whether it be city council members, whether it be residents, whether it be voters, whether it be just concerned citizens of outside of Sedona. Mayor Adams has an open door policy. Just use it. Whether you have to knock or whether you have to call, just exercise your chain of command. I would suggest, from my standpoint, putting the jeopardy, you have to understand the bigger picture. The committees are serving everyone in Sedona, tourists, residents, everyone that pay our tax dollars, that pay our revenue. So to put the committees to benefit the city is really not using your best judgment.
Well, I think the point was brought up during council that the council people recognized the quality of the people that were on the committees. So I don't think there's any argument there. They're extraordinarily intelligent, bright, motivated people. So where's the problem? Let's let the committees do their work. The cost of the committees is practically zero in terms of the return on the investment. The use of staff time, there's some staff time that's being used. We are looking at the other committees and commissions that are in Sedona. We're looking at all the committees and commissions that are presently working for the City of Sedona and looking how we might be able to combine some of those, fold some of those together. Some of them are not active anymore, so we need to disband them. So we definitely need to be concerned about staff time that's being used. But again, the return on the investment of these committees, I think, is going to be no question in terms of the value.
Especially when these are collective positions of people who have made a huge impact within the community, and it's just an asset, because if you would have paid them on consultations alone, it would have put our city in great debt.
Well, I mean, a number of the committee members are actually consultants in various areas, whether it be finance or environment, where they're making $250 to $500 an hour. So these people are donating their time for free and very happy to do it. I'm just have to say that I'm saddened by this, because these committee members, no way did I ever want to embarrass them or put them in this kind of position. And I think it's just sad that this is even being questioned.
Well, We are living in a questionable time, but when we have leaders that we, the people, elected, first and foremost, you should respect your authority. If you have a problem with your authority, then it's our responsibility to confront that individual in a one-on-one time. And Mayor Rob Adams has said many times, come on in, talk to me. I want to thank you very much. Is there anything else that you wanted to say?
I just want to say that I'm very aware of the fact that this is a council-manager form of government where the mayor just has one vote. However, that being said, I think the mayor, again, also, by virtue of the fact that he has been publicly elected, has a duty and a responsibility to serve the citizens of Sedona, and that's what I intend on doing. I intend on accomplishing some significant things during my tenure if I'm allowed to do it, and I would love to work with council in order to accomplish those things. I think instead of trying to disempower the mayor, the better thing to do would maybe the council would be empowering all of us to work together toward making Sedona a better place to live.
I totally concur. You know, we the people means we everyone. I want to thank you very much, Mayor.
My pleasure.
Now, to contact him, whatever questions, you can look at the phone number right below, or if you also look right below, you'll also be able to see the City of Sedona's website. If you want to talk to him about protocol, regarding the committees, regarding the article that you read, anything, just contact him. It's our pleasure to bring it to you. It's my honor to have Mayor Rob Adams on the show.
Thank you.
I thank you very much, Rob. Say bye to everyone.
Bye-bye.
Remember, our slogan is tune in today and plan for tomorrow. Tune in for our next segment, and we'll be right back after these messages. Thank you.
Thank you.